Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. We're going to be talking about transit Mercury conjunct one's natal Mars. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Mercury, it can be about what we're, as far as being objective, matters with communication, thinking, learning, processing, assimilating information. When you have transit Mercury conjunct one's natal Mars, this could manifest in being objective, communication, a lot of thinking. It could be a lot of thinking and learning, assimilating information in matters with anger. If this is in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be sometimes with contentious situations on the home front. It could be more about brooding and pouting as opposed to actually releasing the anger constructively. It could also be, and then Mars is, anger and acrimony. There might be thinking about, say if this is an Aquarius, it could be thinking about, acrimonious situations with friends. It could be, something on social media. Maybe it has to do with, some humanitarian efforts. Maybe, for example, weren't appreciated. Can manifest in a number of ways. And also Mars is associated with sex. It could be about being objective about maybe someone you're in an intimate or sexual relationship with, your own sexuality. It could be also Mars is also about injury, so you might find yourself talking more. It could be about aches and pains, some debilitation, even matters with the vitality, the energy that you have at this time. You could be learning a little bit more about it. If this is Mars, say if it's in Taurus, you're having this transit take place in Taurus. It could be matters with just general endurance, stamina, very latent energy that you might be trying to find out a little bit more about. It might be improving matters connected with your endurance, and also too. It could be about being very, more thinking more, learning more about how to be a leader. Mars could be connected with leadership, and it can be such where you don't necessarily, you may not necessarily be about thinking about attaining a position of leadership, but it could just be about being a leader in quiet ways, and not, even if you're in a subordinate position, being like an exemplary, type employee. For example, say if this is like if it's in the 6th house, it could be about just showing leadership prowess at your place of work, employment, as an example. Now, Mars is also about aggressive and assertive energy, and this could, in some cases, this could manifest in just really communicating, thinking more about being more aggressive and assertive. If you're somebody, that has lack of fire in your chart, for example, maybe you've had difficulties in showing leadership, or should say showing, a lot of, being very aggressive. Should say more if your Mars is afflicted, or if you lack Aries energy or fire, there might be some lack in terms of your aggression and assertiveness, and it could be a time where you might be thinking about contemplating what you need to do as far as matters with aggression and assertiveness, and being more forceful about things. If this is in your 10th house of career, it could be about matters with your status, your recognition, notoriety, something with the career, attaining a position of authority. And also too, Mars is about our courage, so we might be able to articulate better more matters connected with fortitude, with courage at this time as well. And this is where, in being objective about as far as being courageous, where do we need, as far as how are we going to express our courage? Is it going to be, through, maybe through example? Is it going to be, is it going to be an actual confrontation? Could it be, say if it's in Capricorn, it could just be by showing, discipline and restraint, by actually walking away. And Mars is also associated with accidents and this could be a time too where if you had some accident, like a physical accident where you slipped and fall, or you seriously injured yourself, it might be a time where you might be more apt to be communicating and talking about it more so than usual at this time. Learning about accidents, maybe even more, whether it's car accidents um, or what have you. And this is also, as far as anatomically speaking, Mars could be connected. I mean, talking about the head, the face, the skull, the blood. Um, and this is something, and also again, could be our vitality, our energy level. And looking at what you're talking about, Mars, this is something too where you might. It could be about more communication about those matters. About could be some issue. If you have some injury to the skull or to the face, thinking about more what you want to do about it. You might be receiving news about this if you've had some recent MRI or something on your head. This could be the time where you might receive news pertaining to that. And also, this is about being objective to, as far as taking action at this time as well. And if you need to hold back, if you need to assert yourself, if you need to act on something, this could be a time where you're making. This is about decisions connected with this, perhaps. Now, another thing too about this could be a time where you might speak with a lot of courage and conviction. If you're somebody that's basically, say, reticent, or somebody that's very taciturn, or a person that's more passive, you might surprise a lot of people at this time. And even if this is in more of a more passive sign like the zodiac sign Cancer or Pisces, you might really surprise others by speaking up at this time. This could be a very good period to be able to, if you're standing up for some belief. Say if you have this in Aquarius, it could be something connected with being an activist. This could be the time where it could be very auspicious for doing so. And if this is in Capricorn, as an example, it could be speaking with more courage, more conviction in matters connected with the government, politics, business at this time, and being more outspoken in these matters. And also, too, another way this can manifest and pan out, this could be about siblings, cousins, neighbors. May cause some irritation or exasperation more so than usual at this time. And they can be might be getting on your nerves more so than usual. They might be doing something to to cause a little bit agitation. I mean, even if they're just being joking. If this is like an insane Sagittarius, it could be through some practical jokes. Or let's say if this is in Gemini, it could be just through doing something mischievous, which is on that line, which is joking somebody, but not necessarily maliciously, just to get kind of get the rise out of you, so to speak. But this is something too. Another way this could manifest is that there may be a greater propensity for incisions and like burns or cuts to the arms, the hands, the fingers at this time, and also perhaps even injury to the brain in some isolated cases. So, because remember, Mercury is associated with the brain, Mars can be about injuries, so you have to be more exceptionally careful and prudent at this time. If you're somebody that's kind of freewheeling person, if you're some foolhardy, reckless nature, and you're driving a motorcycle, make sure you're taking your precautions more so at this time than usual. I would say you have your helmet on, you have your things connected with safety at this time. Another thing too, I mean, it could, for example, if this is an Aries, it could be getting some burns on the hands or fingers or arms, maybe through welding, or if you're a firefighter. So again, it goes back to just making sure you're really taking your precautions at this time, and thinking might be more impulsive than usual at this time as well. If it's in Pisces, it might be some kind of chemical burn that you might get on the hands, the fingers, the arms at this time. If you're in a work especially that is associated with chemicals, like if you're in chemistry, for example, if you're a chemist. And at this time, you're more inclined, I would say, to act on what you think about at this time. And it's not just about all talk and no action. You're a lot more likely to follow through on what you've been contemplating more so than usual at this time. Hold on a moment. And it's safe, this is an Aquarius. It could be matters with computers, electronics, innovation. You might be, if you have any ideas connected with that, you may be more inclined to act upon them. And also to be more careful and assiduous regarding driving at this time. If you're a driver, you might be more apt to be, you may be apt to be more aggressive and impulsive than usual at this time. There could be a greater tendency toward road rage. If you're a person that's had a history of this, especially, be very careful at this time. Drivers may be more inclined to antagonize or provoke you at this time more so than usual. Say if this is in Taurus, this could be maybe getting impatient over slow, methodical, very plodding drivers at this time, and might cause some exasperation. But it could also be very, on a positive note, be very auspicious for people that are in, the military, strategizing, formulating plans. If somebody's in sports and they're trying to formulate some kind of plan against their opponent, like a football or basketball coach, for example. This could be a very good period for that. Now, and it's also about having, using your mental agility in taking action. This is where that could be really, where it could be more, that energy could be more prominent at this time. Could show quick wittiness in emergency situations. Say if this is in Gemini, it might be, might be some experience with a car rolling out of a driveway that's on an incline or something, and you're trying to figure out how am I going to get this car to stop rolling, as a very isolated example. And also too, this is a time where you might be thinking more about confrontations, and this could be something about whether it might be past confrontations. It could be, if you have Mars retrograde, it could be ones that may have taken place in the past, or even Mercury, if transit Mercury is retrograde at this time. And it might be also too, and this could be, if this is in Taurus, again going back to zodiac sign Taurus, it might be something where if you're thinking about some kind of confrontation with somebody, it might be being infuriated over very persistent provocation and goading at this time. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard, stay well.